Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Manifesting with Meg. It is the 58th episode, and tonight I have the pleasure of introducing you to my author series, for one, and this is my first official author of the series, Suzanne Simonetti, and we are going to talk about tonight manifesting all about detaching with love. And I think that that's going to be quite on point because as we put our babies, our books out in the world, we have to detach with love and hope the message gets to whoever needs it, the story gets to whoever needs it, and we get to play with storytellers tonight, which is even more exciting for me. So welcome, Suzanne, to Manifesting with Meg. I'm so excited to have you on board with
I am thrilled to be here, Meg. Thank you so much.
Wow. And I have to tell you, this show is about conversations with extraordinary people. And you are incredibly extraordinary. From the minute I met you in our author cohort, I was like, I got to know this girl. This is a show about life transformation, living your dreams, and certainly my favorite, discovering true bliss. And I believe that the more people we surround ourselves with in life, the better we are, and the more bliss we have, and the more amazing things come our way. So I can't wait to share your extraordinariness with everyone tonight. Certainly, it is about time. And Lord knows, when we sit there writing our books for years, when it gets time to bring it out there, how exciting, right?
How exciting.
How exciting.
Absolutely. Feels
so you're getting tons of comments of how beautiful and stunning. So listen, you've got fans already, so you don't have to worry. Your audience will find you. I want to remind everybody that this show is about bliss. Once again, it's not just an abstract idea. It's an attainable state of being. Whoever you are, wherever you find yourself, you're just steps away of living the life you so desire. So let's get ready to wake up to the universe packed with possibility. So before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that this is a show about intentional behavior. And we'd like to set our intentions at the outset. And Suzanne, I ask you to always to set my guests to always set their intentions at the outset. And at the end, we pick a number, and it's the number that goes along with my book. This actual show is based on the Magical Guide to Bliss. It is by month, goes along the lines with what we are intending for that month. And this is a month of love. So detaching with love is our theme. So let's go to it. And get ready, you guys, because I get to introduce you to this incredible person. I'm going to read her info first, and then we're going to take it away. So Suzanne grew up in New York suburbs, just outside the city. After earning a BS in marketing, she spent several years writing press releases until she left her corporate job to focus on her passion for crafting fiction. I absolutely am excited. I love the storytellers of this world. She lives on Cape May Harbor, New Jersey, with her husband. She is the author, as I said, of The Sound of Wings. It's her debut novel. It's an upmarket women's fiction that will be published by She Writes Press, May 4th, 2021. So, oh my gosh, it's so close. It's crazy. And I did want to read the Kirkus review of her book, which is amazing. Simonetti's stirring novel excels at creating characters that are fully fleshed out and deeply committed to their artistic careers and their interpersonal relationships. The three principal characters are thoughtful and conscientious, and the deep dives into their thoughts and memories give sharp illustration of their motivation and fears up to the touching conclusion. And I will not tell you anymore because that's going to be you buying this book, so you get to actually learn. But we will introduce you to the characters tonight as long as Suzanne is willing to bring them to us. So Suzanne, welcome to my show. I'm so excited, and it's such an honor that I get to be the first one to talk about your book on a podcast, or YouTube or Facebook Live for that matter. So welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself from the outset.
I will. And thank you. I want to say thank you so much for having me, Meg. It is such an honor to be here with you, and you're just filled with positive energy. And we can't get enough of that these days, can we?
Well, I always say I align with those around me. So when I find someone who mirrors me, I have to get to know them and I have to meet them. So the same back to you, my friend. Same back to you. So Tell us about yourself and tell me how you got to this point in your life.
Okay, so I'll start with The Sound of Wings, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
The debut that's coming out. It isn't my first manuscript, but it is the book that I started to write when I first moved to Cape May, which was several years ago. And I was just filled with inspiration because of the beauty of the island and being surrounded by all these amazing, incredible, talented people. And so I had just finished a manuscript that I was pitching and I was waiting to hear back on that. All the while, another story was developing, and it was The Sound of Wings. So I love that it's my debut in so many ways, because it's the book that I started to write when I first moved here, and it'll always be my debut. So,
that's awesome.
That's awesome. It is wonderful.
Well, I think that, it's so funny because, they say place is a character in and of itself. And Cape May, from what I've read about your book so far, it just comes alive through your words, and that it's the whispers in the wind, perhaps, on The Sound of Wings, that spoke to you, so that you paid attention, so that you could bring this book to life and the story to what is going to happen next, as far as the storyteller goes. Tell us a little bit more about that. How did that process happen?
Well, and so when you're speaking of Cape May, it's a historically preserved district. I mean, there's just so much history here on the island, and there's no shortage of talented people. And so the characters in my book, for example, one of the main characters, Goldie Sparrows, is a potter. We have potters here in Cape May. And actually a local store that I love, that I found inspiration from. So I took a lot of the sights and sounds and the people that I saw here when I first moved, and I was able to put it into the story, and it just brought it to life for me. It made it more exciting for me to write.
Were you, this is a really interesting question, because they always say, everyone is a storyteller, but when did it compel you? When did the story compel you to sit down and start writing it?
The story first came to me. I love this question. When I was my first summer here, when I was walking the shoreline, and I was collecting seashells and sea glass, and I had gathered a whole bag, and I had done this several times, so I was getting quite a collection. But in that time, as I said, I was ready to write my next story, so my mind was open. And a character came to me as I was walking the shoreline. Her name was Crystal. She's in the book. She's a big character in the book. And so that is kind of how it kicked off The Sound of Wings. Crystal really did.
So was it Crystal, the name, that came to you, or was the actual persona? Did you visualize that particular character before you actually named that character?
Such a great question. Well, you're good. Okay. So Crystal, actually, once I started painting her, and I got, where she was in her life down, she's sort of a rags to riches theme. So she's living in this lavish mansion, and she's living this wonderful, beautiful life, but she comes from a very modest, let's say modest background, and she hasn't really found herself. And she is a beautiful woman. She's blonde, and she's buxom, and she's just absolutely striking, but she doesn't feel good inside. Oh. And I wanted to give her a name that would reflect sort of who I saw her as, Crystal. Crystal. She's Crystal. She's precious.
Wow.
So that's how the name came to be. Names for me are very important. Mm-hmm. Like I have to get the names right of my characters.
Oh my God.
Some people write the character and then decide, all right, I got to come up with a name. I'm not that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that. I have to go back to the theme, because tonight, on this night, is February 22nd. All the twos that are all wrapped up in February 22nd. Is opening of Mercury's gone direct now, so we don't have those issues with any communication or anything like to that respect. But I think it's really fascinating that the concept for tonight on this day is detached with love, because I know, when I put out my first book and I was excited about it, I was terrified at the same time, because I was like, oh my God, what if no one falls in love with this book and sees what I want them to see? And then it's kind of like, well, the beauty is that you got to channel it and put it out to the world for all to take what they want from Crystal and the rest of your characters. So I wanted to read the quote so we could go into this first. And I want to ask you then, what does this mean, or how does it speak to you?
Okay.
The quote tonight is, "Let us not be content to wait and see what will happen, but give us the determination to make the right things happen." And the insight that I actually excerpt was, "When you feel called to a worthy endeavor, there is no time to take an attitude of wait and see. Superhuman status is not required to make the right things happen in life. You just need to pay attention to what shows up, set clear intentions, and move forward with inspired action. The key, ask a question, close your eyes, and receive what's inspiration you need. So now I turn to you. You finally chose where the Sound of Wings was going to go. The Sound of Wings was going to go. Tell me about how you decided to jump into the party rather than waiting and seeing as to things that would show up.
Great question. So I likened the character, let's take Crystal, because I have parts of me in all of them, but we'll stick with Crystal.
Okay.
To me, and how I discovered my writing. And, you and I have had the conversation before about, like, we don't know what we want to be when we grow up.
Yes.
And that's an ever-evolving thing.
I love it.
And we know my background's marketing, and you also know I was a personal trainer for 9 years. So here I am, and I finally became, decided I wanted to be a writer, but what really happened was I heard a voice that went off in my head years ago, and I was reading books because I'm a big reader. I love reading, and I heard this little voice that said, "I can do this."
Oh, I love that.
Crystal experiences that in the story.
Oh, I love that.
As she's collecting seashells and she starts playing and making crafts and jewelry, and she sees this woman and she's selling her goods, and she's got the same little, I can do this. And so it's almost like what you're talking about, where you close your eyes and you get that inspiration.
Oh my God. So I have to show everybody your beautiful, beautiful cover. So give me just 1 second. I want to say that the coolest thing about authors, and Mike Spatola just added this comment, is that writers amaze me. Good novelists mesmerize me. Congratulations, Suzanne. Your debut novel sounds like a story that my wife, Pam, and I would thoroughly enjoy delving into. Best of luck with The Sound of Wings. So back to The Sound of Wings. How did you come up with that incredible title and that beautiful book cover? Because what a combo. We all know how important that is, the cover and the title for the audience, to attract the audience. It's the first minute they get a chance to see that, whether they decide to get it or not. So tell me a little bit about that.
Great. I know. And I love the title. And I did not come up with the title. The working title for this book was The Butterfly Garden. And it had remained that way even when I pitched it and signed a contract with She Writes Press. But there was another book on the market with that same title. So I reached out to my good friend and fellow author, Patty Davis, and I said, I'm in a dilemma. I don't know what to do. I have to change the title of the book. This is kind of a big thing because I've been calling it The Butterfly Garden for years.
Yeah.
And she very humbly said, I'm actually very good at this. Let me sit with it. And the next morning she emailed me and she said, how about The Sound of Wings? And I almost fell out of bed. And I said, whoa, that's powerful. And it speaks to so many things in the book, because The Sound of Wings, you see the monarch on the cover.
Yeah.
So of course it could be, because monarchs are a key theme in the book. But also The Sound of Wings could be angels, right?
Oh, I love that. Oh my God. Awesome. Oh, I love it. Hi, goosebumps.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the title couldn't have asked for a better title. And
so
it's all
Patty
thanks to
Davis,
Patty.
right?
Patty Davis came up
you get a
with
shout out tonight for your inspiration around the title. It's absolutely beautiful.
That's right.
I did for just a second. I want to actually ask you about the wonderful, first of all, stirring up to the touching conclusion. Oh my God, what a teaser that this Kirkus Review is. I have to tell you, how do you create those stirring characters up to the touching conclusion? I mean, that has to capture someone. It's like they say when we're writing, is that you want to encourage the reader to keep turning the pages. And you've captured, with your ability to write, you've captured in a very beautiful way these kind of characters, even setting forth that it's reminiscent of Alice Hoffman in The Unfolding and Sheer Magic. Tell me a little bit more about that, because that's really a gift when you can write like that.
Thank you so much for saying that. The word that's jumping out at me as you're speaking is relatable. The characters are relatable. And I think that I've heard that through several of my readers already, that as they're reading my story and they're going through, all the characters are different from one another, and they're all facing different life circumstances and struggles, but they're relatable. We can take things away from this story and say, gosh, that stuck with me, or, these characters have sat with me, and that's really, I want that's like, I guess that would be the most important key takeaway for me, is to have the readers walk away and say, these characters haven't left me. I've heard that as well.
Well, first of all, so we have Crystal, and who are other big characters in the book now?
Goldie is the potter, and she's the gardener of the butterfly garden, and the story opens with her. And then we have Jocelyn, who is a writer. Okay, so she was fun to write because I know the challenges that she's facing.
Yeah.
Deadlines and all those really fun things.
I have to tell you, the reason why your characters are relatable is because you are relatable, Suzanne. I mean, you are very approachable. People, I can only imagine that, knowing Suzanne, you want to get to know these characters more because they'll take you into a world of possibility, especially because you told us that you were in the corporate world. You switched over to another career as a trainer for 9 years. Yeah. And now you're embarking once again on this incredible writing career that's going to take you to the highest of heights because you're a butterfly. And I literally wore my butterfly dress for you today because I knew that butterflies, they find each other. And I know everyone is a butterfly, but you've actually allowed yourself the transformation process, the metamorphosis, which is really, as you've indicated, very powerful in this book. So tell me a little bit more about this, and tell me how, the whole process of this book has taken you through 2020, a really difficult, challenging time, but yet you have a lot to look forward to with the publication or the published book on May 4th, 2021.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It's interesting to publish it right now, to be publishing now at a time where we're in a pandemic, and all of a sudden our lives became one big Zoom meeting.
I know, it's true.
So, and I'm not complaining. I'm certainly not, but I made a lot of connections through that way, and I found that, like, we can say this, this through our sisterhood and our Zoom calls, I've been uplifted and carried through, and thinking, I can do this. I'm going to be able to continue to do this.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think that, the mere fact that someone will, through their characters, encourage other people to jump into the world because they tell themselves, I can do this. I can do this. And if you're reading someone that is allowing themselves to go from the rags to riches mentality, that coupled with the I can do this mantra is something that's really empowering, which, as an author, I have to read this because this is so beautiful. And these are your words. It's in the eyes. The eyes will reveal all, but first you must be willing to see. So, wow, Suzanne, tell me about that. I don't know, I get goosebumps.
Wonderful. Okay, so that's in the prologue that opens this story. And it's those are the words that were told to Goldie Sparrows by her late father-in-law, who she had a very strong connection with. And actually, she and his name is Patrick Knight, they had built a butterfly garden together. And so their connection was within the butterfly garden. And so as we open the story, Goldie's in the butterfly garden, and she's reminiscing on what it was like to lose Patrick, and thinking about his words of wisdom from the past. And that was one of the things that he was sort of warning her about, people that, you look into the eyes, sometimes, the eyes will reveal all, but first you must be willing to see. Keep your eyes open to things and to people who come into your sphere.
That's amazing. And they also, Leslie Rasmussen is also saying with Joy Rosen that you're so amazing and you're so cool, with Scott Hernandez sounding you love. And I think it's so amazing when you actually start to focus other people on that. Open your eyes, people. Wake up and see what's in front of you. And then, of course, you are worthy. You have a voice. Never be afraid to use it. What beautiful words. Tell me a little bit about that, about this statement as well that comes from your book.
Okay, so now we're at the end of the story, and this is Crystal thinking about Goldie, who had become a mentor to her. And these were the words that she shared with Crystal to give her that shot in the arm of, you're worthy, you have a voice, never be afraid to use it.
I love it.
And so we've seen Crystal through the transformation when we start where she's feeling, empty and lost and not sure where she is. And then we end the story with Crystal sort of far more, I don't want to give too much away, but she's empowered and she's found her voice. And these were the words that Goldie that are now going to sit with Crystal and stay with her as she moves through life.
Wow. And I think that those are incredible words to share with your circle, wherever you are. You are worthy, you have a voice, never be afraid to use it. And how important it is to relay that in such a delightful way through these relatable characters that you're going to give to the world, so that they can start to believe, that the reader, also your audience, start to believe what they are hearing, that they are worthy, they have a voice, they're never to be afraid to use it, which is so incredible. Mike Spatola once again says empowerment. He loves it. And then so true as teachers and coaches, can't underscore the point that the eyes never lie, never lie. So with that, I want to take all of you once again into wonderful Suzanne's world. And the cool thing about being an indie author, and we were talking about this in our cohort, is that instead of joining the conversation, we become the conversation, because we are the daring, the courageous, who are setting out to green light our vision, our books, our stories, and they're going to, on the sound of wings, take flight, like your book is going to be one of the first. So when I say that, I said, how do you look at that and become the conversation? I mean, certainly writing is one way, reading is another, but you and your mission, your message, because this is about extraordinary Suzanne tonight, and I want really you to give others a vision or a look within your process as well.
Okay, in terms of as opposed like to my writing, you mean?
To everything, to your I think everyone, in my opinion, I think everyone has a purpose and a calling, and I think you keep defining that every step you take in life, from the corporate world to the training world to now here you are. And I think that the storytellers are the visionaries that can change the world, the greatest. We have movies, we have cinema, we have books, and the readers get to actually dive in and you get to take them there. So how do you see yourself becoming the conversation with your gifts and your tools at this point in your life?
Oh, we're already working on my next book.
Oh, even better.
I am working on my next book. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Well, I think really something really special about you is that you not only keep your eyes open, but you are very much in tune. You're very intuitive. And I think people who are intuitive, they really are awake and they're watching what's happening around them. They're in tune with what's within, and then they pay attention to what's without.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, and what a great trait for a storyteller, for sure, because if you can do that, like you said, you heard the whispers of Crystal. She spoke to you, and some people don't pay attention; they'll never hear. But
I think it's about. So one of my things is I want people to not feel alone, because I have felt alone, and we all do sometimes, don't we?
Yes.
And I think that through my creativity and my endeavors and how I use my voice on the page, I want people to feel like I'm not alone, and there's another path for me. Or if a door closes in my face, I'm going to open a window and I'm going to figure out another way.
Wow, that's a beautiful intention for your readers, not to feel alone, because right now, especially because everyone's coming from a place of isolation, that's certainly something that I think a lot of people will flock to, just to figure out or find ways to actually look at that window, right? See that window is open. And you have people here, Mary Camarillo was saying, I'm lucky to read an advanced copy, can't wait for her words to get out into the world. Wow. And then you're an empath and you're deeply connecting with people. That's Teresa Camera Pugh, which I think, people see that in you. And the fact of the matter is that how beautiful it is to turn around and offer that to the world, that, welcome, you're not alone. We're all, and I think, 222, it's a collaborative number. It's, you know, we work together, we rise together, we are together, we are connected, interconnected at that. So I want to introduce all of these to some beautiful quotes that you've also shared with me that inspire you. And the first one is, you're braver than you believe and stronger than you seem and smarter than you think. Tell us a little bit about how that speaks to that concept of you offering basically a hand out to others and welcome them to the land of the living still.
I think it's all about listening to the voice that's saying, I can do that, and silencing the ones that say, I'll never be able to do that.
Oh, I love that.
And because we all have these voices in our heads, every single one of us. And you know, we've talked, of course, privately, and I've said, and it's really true what they say about how if something makes you uncomfortable, you have to do it. Yeah. You have to do it. You have to step out of your comfort zone. And people know that's such a cliche, but these cliches mean something. And you are braver than you believe. And you're definitely stronger than you would ever imagine possible. And I've proved that to myself, even though I have to remind myself of that. But I definitely want people out there to know that that is true for them as well.
So, you know what, so I have been thinking about what you were saying and the whole idea that if you feel resistance, you need to push past it and say yes. So tell us a little bit, because I loved your process. I love that you're answering to that call, because a lot of people will get smaller instead of expanding into the beauty of their life.
Right. I love you said, so you brought up resistance, and more to the point was about if you're feeling resistance as you're trying to achieve or you're moving through life, that's good, because it means you're progressing, you're moving forward. You're always going to get resistance as you move forward. That means that you're pushing forward. So the resistance is going to be there. It doesn't mean you should stop and change directions. That's part of the process, and that's a good thing. So embrace and expect the resistance, if you will. Right.
You know, it's so funny that you say that too, because, you know, the only way you can build your muscles is with more weight. Obviously, that's the resistance to build up, to get stronger, right? So so how have you in your life right now, have you answered the call by pushing past your fear or doing it anyway, even if you're scared? Do it scared.
Tonight is a great example.
That's, you know, people also wonder, you know, they think that, you know, they're going to see you here. You look incredible. You're poised. You're very much, you know, clearly articulating everything that you're saying about your book. You got it. And they're like that. They would think that this is easy for this lady. This is like, oh my God, I can't do that. And you're telling them, I can do this. And
I can do this.
I can
do this with someone who as wonderful as you, who makes it. I knew you were going to make this so wonderful and such a wonderful experience. But yes, absolutely. And usually I think it's like jumping off the diving board. It's the leading up to it that's scarier than actually making the dive.
Yes.
It's always leading up that is like we anticipate and we build it up, and then it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad. What was I worried about?
Yeah. And, you know, and Steven Sandler saying outstanding work and honestly inspiring. And also Leslie speaks to, she was lucky to read an advanced copy. It was so well written, so beautiful. And wow, what a stunning accomplishment, because, you know, I have to tell you, this is coming to mind. I've met many people who over and over said, oh, I'm writing a book, or I want to write a book. And the difference between a published author and someone who's always dreaming of doing it is that the published author sits down and they finish it to the last page. They make it through and they complete it, and then they go through and they get to do the edits, but they actually persevere to have something beautiful to come to life. And you did that, and you definitely pushed through, as Joy is saying. And the interesting thing, I really want to inspire people to embrace the path through your eyes, because what you're offering tonight is having everyone open their eyes. The eyes are like the, you know, the inside vision to the soul.
Oh yeah.
But it's also maybe looking at life through a new perspective through your eyes tonight. Maybe also when they buy your book and read it, through your words and your eyes. So it's a combination. So what do you think for you is the one thing that keeps moving you forward in life?
Discovery.
I love
discovery, and it speaks to a lot of different things. Discovery about more about myself, about the world, places, and people, and how we connect.
Oh, I love
and
that.
how we connect as people and how we build each other up and move forward. And so I think definitely discovery. I mean, because I mean, every year, I mean, I just learn more and more. I would never have been able to write this book 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I think you have to have a certain amount of life experience to get to a certain point when
Right.
it comes to sharing certain things with about your heart, right?
I do.
So definitely, I think discovery and keeping your mind open.
Oh, I love that openness and curious discovery. I love that. And Mike Spatola says the great writers and storytellers provide him with a group of people who envelop him with a result never being alone. So he's acknowledging that wonderful intention that you're setting out into the world. And I want to keep going along this because I think that what you say here is fantastic. Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Now, oh my God, this is clearly how I know that you are, a soul after my own heart. Like, I'm like, wake up and be fearless. Do it anyway. Even if you feel uncomfortable, do it anyway. So tell me why this quote speaks to you.
This, in particular, I think about my writing because I feel like I finally found my home because I'm so happy. I'm never happier than when I'm sitting at that desk and crafting scenes and creating stories. That's my happiest place. But it took a while to find that. And I think a lot of people are missing that. And it's sad. And I think a lot of people are like, I don't know what I want to do, or I never found my passion.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that's a really big part of life. And that's covered in my book too, because Crystal, of course, finds her passion in what she's good at. And so I want that for other people because we all need to find that.
Wow.
And it could be anything. A girlfriend of mine said that, her soul came to life when she became a mother. Okay, that's great. Mm-hmm. That was for her. So like, it could be anything.
Anything. I love the idea of be fearless. Like, it's interesting because those who write generally are introverts. They are introspective. That's why they're so good at playing with words. That's why they're so good with dancing on the page. That's why, and then, to bring it to light to the rest of the world, be able to speak, and allow other souls to go on fire, to articulate the message. This takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage, clearly. So I'm going to go back to ask you specifically, when did you decide not to hide behind the words and bring them to light?
In the story, you mean? By writing.
Yeah, as you're writing.
I think I'm going to say it was probably when I connected with my mentor, Caroline Levitt. And because she gave me that shot in the arm of, you're the real thing. Wow. And that will go back to people helping you along the way and people reminding you that you can do this, when you feel like you're lost or I'm never going to be able to make this happen. But then there's somebody comes along and they say, oh no, you can do this. And so I love that network and having that. And I've done that for other people as well.
So tell me, so for those who don't know who Caroline Levitt is, the writer, why don't you tell those on, because I know a lot of my audience might not be familiar with her. Can you explain to us who she is?
Caroline's a New York Times bestselling author. She's, oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared to speak about Caroline. She's just came out with a fantastic book. She, she's, you can look her up. She's fantastic.
Well, let me ask you about this. Okay, so you said she's your mentor and she basically lit the fire underneath you, which is such a special experience. And because she is somewhat of an accomplished writer in the world of authors, clearly, the fact of the matter is this: how did that relationship come to light? And how do you see you doing that for other people in this world?
It came to light because I had seen that she did manuscript reviews. This is years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I sent her a few chapters because I was like, I need to get better feedback than my husband, Joe. I need to know if I have something here, or am I barking up the wrong tree? And I sent it to her and she sat back and said, I'd love to work with you, and gave me amazing advice right off the bat.
Oh, wow.
And so then I proceeded to go ahead and write another book. And of course paid her to review it for me and edit it for me, and she strengthened my writing. Yeah.
I do believe that especially people who have made their way in the world, like authors like that, when they turn around, they see the beauty in someone else. And instead of looking at it as perhaps, a competition, they look at it as a collaboration, because the more voices they get to bring to the world of women too, women voices out in the world making a difference. My God. And I can't imagine that we wouldn't have the Sound of Wings had it not been for Carolyn Levitt. So thank you, Carolyn. Another one, Paige and Carolyn tonight. Thank you so much for this wonderful person in Suzanne. And also Mike says, God bless Joe. Gotta give a nod out to Joe, because those are the ones who support us on the journey, which it might not be so easy sometimes.
No, he's been wonderful.
Oh my God. But this is the second time you spoke about the collaboration, the support, the networking, and that you do it too. How amazing that you recognize the importance of individuals helping individuals. It's just an amazing concept. And a lot of people are very fearful in that they don't extend themselves because they're afraid that the pie is only so big, when the reality is generosity breeds, generosity.
And I'm a firm believer, the better you do, the better I do, the better we all do. I feel that way about our sisterhood, our She Writes Press sisterhood. I've said it to, I think it was Leslie, I said it to. I'm like, one of us succeeds, we all succeed, because that really is going to, that lifts the whole press. Yeah. So I'm a firm believer in that there is more than enough to go around.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. And I want to bring to light this beautiful Camus. God bless. In the depth of winter, I finally learned that within me there lay an invincible summer. How beautiful. And how does this speak to you? I need to know, because how incredible those words.
We've all had, we all suffer from dark times. I have, whether it's, losing people that are so close to us that we don't know how we're going to be able to go on.
Yeah.
Or just, dark times, it could be anything, losing a job, breaking up in a relationship. But inside, there's always going to be that light, that warmth deep inside you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's something that I'm always going to have to remind myself of, no matter what happens, or, what life throws at me. And it's true for anyone. It's true for anyone. Yeah.
So, I know, because we've spoken about the Sound of Wings, it's really important, that whole transformation process. And I love that you bring the darkness to the light, and you are such a light. And the mere fact that you spoke to, somebody else's light, Carolyn's, touching your light to make your dream come true, and to acknowledge something with you, so then you can move on and actually offer it to another person. And Joy is also saying you are that shining light, Suzanne, and that you acknowledge others in your path to glory, in your path to seize that, have your soul on fire, that you bring others along with you, which is a gift. And I can't say it more and more. If we are more like you with regard to that, we all benefit. The world will benefit. So I want to move on to the whole manifesting component, because you are a manifester. You are. And one of my favorite things about you, I really want to offer, and one of the coolest things about the show is that we get to offer these kind of tools to other people who may be aligned to your vision as well. Perhaps they want to be an author. Perhaps they're, looking to have more fun, to feel more alive, to say, I can do this, So I want to ask you, now that 2021 has begun, and, we have this lifting of the darkness to a lot more light coming in, how do you go about, well, let me ask you this. What do you want to prioritize in your life at this point in time?
You're going to laugh, but I'm going to say a garden. I'm going somewhere with that. I have all these other creative pursuits that I haven't found time for, because I've been tied to the chair and tied to the stories. And I keep saying for years, I want a garden. I'm going to do a garden. And I haven't done it yet. So I want to take time for more creative pursuits.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And however that shows up in a garden, you have to share with all of us. We'll all be looking for Suzanne's garden when the blossoms start blooming, you know, so we can celebrate in the spring, because her book comes out in May. So hopefully we get to see the gorgeous flowers in the garden, and whether it's the people garden or it's the actual down deep in the dirt garden on Cape May.
You're gonna laugh. I hope you laugh. I have to get my power cord. Can you hold my seat?
Oh yeah, please go.
I am getting a low battery sign and I'm freaking out.
It's okay. So I can talk to your audience. So everybody, go ahead. Everybody. So Suzanne's book will be available, like I said, May 4th, 2021. And she is going to have a launch. So you got to pay attention for Suzanne Simonetti, author, at Suzanne Simonetti is on Instagram, and also on the Facebook page. Look up Suzanne Simonetti, and she's going to have all of her information with regard to all the up and coming events that are going to be presented, so that you guys can be a part of the blossoming of her book when this flower gets to explode into the world, The Sound of Wings. And I want to say that Teresa's saying, you're such an incredible talent, proven wonderful by your book. You know, she's just getting started, and you have so much to look forward to as well, which is such a gift. You have such wonderful people in your life.
I do.
By you bringing this book to the world, detaching with love and allowing it to grow out in the world, that you'll have more people who will be of your circle of abundance and circle of life, which is something that's so incredible when it comes to the written word, because you can help and change so many. And then your life expands as well, because you have all these other people who touch your life. So one more thing I wanted to ask with regard to your ability to manifest. How do you start acting in alignment with these creative pursuits then? How do you, what would be the first thing that you would do to make those things, those dreams come true?
I would say, oh my gosh. I mean, I do yoga and I meditate, but I would say I need more of a schedule, because it's been a little bit sporadic and I allow myself to get distracted. So I would say, I think I need to become a little bit more, if I could use the word, ritualistic.
That's good.
Because yeah. So I would imagine I need to sort of just focus and be more focused and have a better schedule.
Well, I think, for creative people specifically, it's like squirrel, where's the dog? Where are you going to go? Look, everything. There's so many things that will grab your attention, because so many things inspire you to have those opportunities to get a little bit of a ritual,
That's right.
That's why you finished your book instead of, still on the fourth paragraph or something like that, because you had the focus and then usually sometimes after you're done writing, you need to have a little bit of a break, but then you go back again to the things that you can play in the playground again, and in the sandbox again, and get creative. So what are the best tools or practices that you have for manifesting the life of your dreams and your vision that's going to just, be something that someone can take away from this conversation?
Okay. Well, I did say I meditate a lot, but yes. I also listen. I make sure that I do it at night. And so it's the last thing I hear. Like, I don't watch Netflix. I don't close down Facebook and then jump in bed. I make sure that I'm listening to things that are going to resonate with me.
I love that. Is there a particular meditation that you listen to before you go to bed so that you can wind down a certain way? I know there's so many different styles, and sometimes it's when people haven't done meditation, they might be overwhelmed a little bit by.
Right. And there's so many different ones that are out there. I love Mike Dooley. I follow Mike Dooley. He's the author of the Daily Universe Messages. I've been following him. But my guru is Elizabeth Peru, and she is located in Australia. You can follow her on Facebook.
Okay.
And she has a series of meditations, and I've done Skype sessions with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's also like she's the one that teaches me about the cosmos, so I know what's going on in the universe because I follow Elizabeth.
Oh, awesome. So Elizabeth Peru. Yeah, Peru, right? Just
Yep.
like the country. And
Right.
and also you said Mike Dooley, Dooley. He does
That's
the
correct.
universe. Yeah.
That's right.
I get my universe hits every morning from them.
I think I've gotten them for 10 years. Yeah,
Oh,
every
you're way
morning.
advanced. You're more advanced than I am for sure. Oh my God. Oh my God, I love it. And I think the other thing, with meditation, what it does is, I think a lot of people may be experiencing a lot of anxiety, and I've spoken to this on the show before, where they might need something to calm your monkey mind, and maybe it might be a great idea. Do you read before you go to sleep at all? I'm curious, as an author.
I do.
You do.
I love to read. I'm weird. I always have 3 books going. I have like a self-help. I have one on my Kindle, and then I have a hardcover or a paperback. And
awesome.
I always have. I love reading before bed.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there a favorite that we could go to that that you just
I'll tell you what I'm reading right now. It's a classic. It's called A Woman of Substance by Barbara Taylor Bradford.
Yes.
I've never read it. I think it came out in 79.
Yeah, no, it's an old book. Yes.
It's long book too. That's why I'll go through that and then
I love it.
I'm trying to think of what I just read that I loved. I could check my Goodreads.
Well, let me ask you something.
I know what I love. I wish I could get the name of it. I think his name is. I'm gonna go get the book. Wait, let me just get the title for you because it's a good one. Sorry.
It's okay. This is great. I had to say, you guys, if you have book clubs out there and you want to add Suzanne's to the list, she will be available for book clubs in the future. So I know that, these characters are going to be these juicy, really awesome discussions around, who Crystal is and Jocelyn and Goldie. And I know that might be something for your book clubs to embrace and bring on board. So certainly, Suzanne, I know that there's contact information for you. I want to tell the audience now where they can find you, because at this point, I know everyone is definitely going to want to find you. For one, maybe to get a signed copy of the book, maybe if they can get you, one of these days when the bookstores are open again, or two, to speak. I don't know if you're open to speaking at book clubs. Certainly Zoom.
Absolutely. I would love book clubs. Oh, book clubs are my jam. I would absolutely love that. That would be perfect for me. This is the book I wanted to mention because it's so great. I'm reading it now. It's called The Deepest Acceptance by Jeff Foster.
Ooh.
Yeah. Radical Awakening in an Ordinary Life. Fantastic book. I'm reading it. I read it before bed. He's great.
Yes.
He's really great. I've been following him. So
this is The Deepest Acceptance?
It's called The Deepest Acceptance.
Oh, wow.
Radical Awakening in an Ordinary Life.
That sounds awesome.
Really
so there you go. So the author gives a plug to another author and something that might be a good meditative ritual that you might establish before you go to sleep at night. That's to knock it up a couple notches for sure. So, yes, they're already asking to do a book signing in Cape May.
Absolutely.
Yes, and she's acknowledging that the universe notes are the best. And that's awesome. I do want to go back.
I want to say Tina did take my photo, my author shot. That Tina took that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Spirit Catcher Photography.
Oh, beautiful. So there you go. If you are interested in author shots as well, then call Tina. I think that's fantastic. I think that when someone can capture the beauty of an author, certainly that needs to be acknowledged. So well done, Tina. It's a gorgeous picture of her. I want to go back to one more thing before I ask you what your intention was tonight. I want you to tell us, how it feels to almost be publishing this book.
Surreal.
Tell me why.
Does. Because I've been at this for years and I never knew what it was going to look like. And it's actually even more exciting than I thought. And it's because of the people I'm meeting along the way. Yeah. This conversation we're having right now, I never would have dreamt in a million years I would have been able to have something so exciting and fun and engaging. So, and I'm proud. I can say that. It's why is this word so hard for us to say? I'm proud.
Yeah. Well, I am very proud to know you. And I think the privilege is all of mine that I get to be a part of your Sound of Wings journey, as well as your author journey, and all the rest of the books that are going to come from you, channeled through you, come from you. I think that is beautiful. Surreal is an incredible word. Maybe I will remind you to open your eyes and keep paying attention. Enjoy, experience the joy of such a beautiful accomplishment, because, you know, acknowledging that with pride, like you said, yet you're proud, is a wonderful acceptance. And the universe notes would probably say, well done, Suzanne. Well done listening to the bray of your heart. Well done paying attention to the words that come through you. Well done for giving a voice to Crystal, Jocelyn, and Goldie as well. And well done bringing this story, a story of relatable characters who are going to give a lot of people hope and inspiration to believe that they can do this to the world. And I really will say this, it's quite a pleasure speaking to you about this. And I want to go back to the beginning when I asked you to set your intention tonight, and ask you what that intention was, and then tell us what number you picked and what passage in the magical guide you picked.
My intention was to make a connection with the audience, because we're all sitting behind screens these days, right? And so sometimes it's hard to find that connection because we're not face to face. And my intention was, well, I'm going to see if I can do that. I'm going to see if I can, or if I want the connection to be there. So that was my intention for tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
To make that connection, if I'm saying that correctly.
No, absolutely. And I do believe that how authentic you've been tonight and how vulnerable it has been with your story and your inspirations through your mentor, with Caitlin, and through all of the other wonderful people that have crossed your path and already read your book, like Leslie and Joy and Tina and all these wonderful people. Beth is even saying that she already pre-ordered it in September 2020 and can't wait. Let's give them some insight to take tonight from the Magical Guide to Bliss. And what page did you pick?
Okay, I picked page 47. I'm going to hold it up so everyone can see the beautiful cover. I love this book, by the way. Okay. Okay, the message is radiate love. Let your light shine, be a source of strength, share your wisdom, radiate love. Wilfred Peterson, American author. And here is the passage. And I loved it. It jumped right off the page when I read it.
That's awesome.
The universe is talking to you. The universe is begging for you to shine because there is no light identical to yours. The universe needs your particular brand of determination and strength, for there is no spirit that mirrors yours. The universe asks that you share your hard-earned wisdom to advance the cause of all that is good, for there is no perspective equal to yours. But most importantly, the universe prays that you choose to radiate love to others, because no love can nourish this desperate land the way the love that comes from within you can. The universe is calling you, reminding you that you need to shine in order to guide your way through any challenge. For if you can see clearly, you will discover that it is in the challenge of life that you will see your strength. When you have walked through the challenge, you will have gained precious wisdom. And with that newfound wisdom, you will be able to radiate love even stronger than before. Each morning, as you start your day, arm yourself with your positive intentions, write them down, and set out to act in a way that ensures they come to light. As your soul seeks, your vision will motivate you to become more alive in this world. Surrender to the process, radiate love throughout, and trust that from one moment to the next, you will rise to a place more aligned with your purpose in life.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic writing.
I have to tell you, one of the most beautiful things is to hear other people, and you'll see this because when they do read it back to you. So I want you to hold up your actual book because I know you have it with you.
I have the ARC.
I know this is the ARC, and this is the excitement. This is what you guys are going to get when you get your book. And I really want to celebrate once again this incredible accomplishment of Suzanne's, and as she radiates love by sharing with the world her words and her thoughts and her vision of the world, and how exciting that is and how magical she is. So I want to once again Suzanne, please tell us where they can find you and they can find your book. And if you have a web page, a website, can you just spell it out for everyone so they can just hear it and they can, yes, go ahead.
Absolutely. Nice and easy. www.suzannesimonetti.com, and all the links to where you can buy my book are there.
Okay, so that's SUZANNESIMONETTI.com. And you are going to be able to be one of the first people if you go ahead and pre-order it on Amazon now. It's waiting for you. Get it up there on the bestseller list. We're going to do this with Suzanne, make her book a true hit. It already is. It already is exactly what it's going to be, an amazing story by an amazing storyteller. And this, I have to tell you, is my hit for the night. Now we get some final inspiration by this beautiful woman. So take it away, Suzanne. Give us something to go home with regard to everything and tie it up with a bow.
Okay. It's going to be quite simple, but it's profound nonetheless. Remember to disconnect. We're in a very busy world. There's a lot of noise out there between the news and social media and YouTube videos and personalities. Disconnect, go within, no TV, no nothing. Just make sure that you give your inner voices a chance to speak to you, because they're there, but with all the noise, you're not going to hear anything.
Yeah,
so that's
I love that. Oh, that's so fantastic. So everyone, listen to Suzanne and disconnect. Listen to the inner world, because it has so much to tell you. I love the storytellers. I love you, Suzanne. You're amazing, amazing
so much
author and orator, and you are engaging. And I can't wait for the world to start knocking on your door, welcoming you and your book into the foray, to become the conversation, so we can start changing that to a better conversation. And I think when you have the images of profound and touching and relatable characters, then there's nothing better in life to take a break from the tragedy and the darkness, to allay your imagination with light and bright and shiny wonder. And that is who you are, and that is what you bring to the table. And once again, I want to remind you guys to get The Sound of Wings. It's coming out May 4th on 2021. It is going to be available. I know AmazonBookshop.org. A lot of we support indie presses, so it's She Writes Press, and we support your indie bookstores. It's a great place because these are the bookstores that we want to keep around for a long time to come.
That's right.
Joy saying bravo. Mara saying wonderful interview. I'm saying you're amazing. I want to remind everybody to go within and get silent once again. Discovery with openness and curiosity. Radiate love. Do all of the above. Embrace your wings, whether they're the angel wings or your butterfly wings or whatever wings. It's time for all of us to fly. Very exciting. Right. We're all here to be deliberate creators of our lives. Let's all dream big, and let's together raise the positive affirmations and vibrations on this planet. Take care of each other. We can raise together. We can rise together. We can move forward together. And it's time to manifest the life of our dreams. So I am going to enjoy watching you manifest the continuation of your beautiful dreams, Suzanne. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me tonight, Meg. You are amazing.
No, you are amazing. and I really have enjoyed it. I can't wait to continue the conversation with your next book for sure. And once again, go out and manifest your life, guys. Come alive to your dreams. Awaken and open your eyes, like Suzanne says. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Have a good one.
Thank you.